Alright, today we are going to catch up on the YZF. It's been sitting for way too long. Haven't taken it out. I thought about going riding today and then I forgot I have to replace a rear wheel bearing. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that and we'll see what's wrong with this thing. You'll see on this side it looks like it's okay, but on this side it's all blown out and pressed in, so creating some issues for us. So let's go ahead and swap it out, show you guys how to do this. So first, of course, you want to order up your wheel bearings. These are, let's see, these are pivot work rear wheel bearings for the YZF 250, and just want to make sure these are Tusk impact wheels, and apparently the OEM wheel bearings will fit on these, so just make sure you check with the supplier you're using, make sure it fits. You can hear that. It doesn't sound too good in there. All right, first things first, take your, what is it, 28 mil on the rear here. Make sure, go ahead and loosen this thing. And pop out the wheel bearings, so. There we go. And pull the wheel forward, pop the chain off. And she's free. All right. Yeah, see how bad that is? Thing's hammered. Jeez. All right. Put the wheel up here. And then go ahead and just kind of take out your wheel spacers. And then to take out the wheel bearing, you can do this two ways. Take out both wheel spacers. And with it being so blown out, it might be kind of hard to get the dust cover off. So we use a big flathead. Pop her out. That's one side. And the other. Oof. That is nasty in there. That's the noise we heard in the wheel binding up as the spring. Just absolutely shredded. Now, keep in mind there's a circlip in these, so when you go ahead and try and knock these bearings out, make sure that you have this C-clip out, because otherwise you will not be able to knock the bearings out. And of course, make sure that's completely seated when you are done with the bearings as well. And the C-clip is only on one side, so now I have always knocked out the bearings like this, which may not be the most accurate way to do it, but you find a little lip edge. A little bit of movement here. Yes, we are. Things just really bound up in there, so I'm gonna do a little bit of penetrating WD-40. And we'll tack this thing. You wanna go around the bearing little by little. And there we go. Wheel bearing one is out. We've got the spacer in between. Make sure you set that aside. Bearing is rusted and decrepit. Now I'm gonna do the other side. Pop it out. Might take a minute, so just tap them out nice and smooth. Make sure you're on the face of the bearing. Let's go ahead and check. We're making some movement, yes. Spray penetrating oil in there to loosen up. It's almost out. Just want to make sure that we're not damaging or scarring any of the bearing seats. Almost there. This one is super tight. Almost there. All right. Got it. So, got two bearings on this side, double stack. And we want to make sure the sprocket side is double bearing stack. And let's go ahead and open up the PivotWorks kit. These were about $30 on motorsport.com. Here's the part number if you want. The wheel bearings and the dust seal kits. So you want to make sure that you've got all the garbage out of the hub. Not that bad, to be honest, considering how rusted those were. Alright, so we'll want to go ahead and put two of these in. Alright, so we're going to open up, take out all the wheel bearings, so should have 3 bearings total and 2 dust covers or rubber bushings, seals that go in over. And then you're going to want to make sure you have a towel. You're going to want to get these nice and greased up. So. Looks like we've got one already. So on this side, take any grease that you have. You can use like a high temp wheel bearing grease, which is like what I'm using, petroleum based, and basically just kind of line the walls of the hub with the grease. Make sure you get it in there nice and tight. And then you want to kind of cake the bearings with the grease too. So let's see here. And they don't have a top or bottom side, so you can put them in however they fall into place. Now putting them in, you can use like a driver or if you want, you can try and start them off even. Usually they'll set into place pretty easily. And then from there, I'd recommend using like a rubber driver, or see what I got here. Could use the other side. Let's see. Still getting my tools situated, so bear with me here. You'll hear it set when it bases out, flattened or bottoms out on the interior of the wheel bearing or hub base. Make sure got a little bit of debris in there. Make sure that's cleaned out. And we'll put the other bearing in on top of it. Again, just make sure you put quite a bit of this grease all around the bearing so it's all filled in nicely. You can see how it falls right into place pretty easily. And we will use, we'll clean this off just because it has some leftover residue from another job. Make sure none of that gets stuck in the wheel bearing. All right, pretty much situated. And the dust seal cover goes into place. You're gonna want the side with the pocket open going into the hub. And again, we'll pack it with some grease. Really try to get it inside that little groove, that pocket area. That's where the rubber's held in by the little metal spring that was corroded on the other one and broke. And kind of set it with your fingers and gently tap it into place. And that side is done. Go ahead and see, all good to go. Now we'll swap it over to the other side. And if you recall, this side had the lock ring in place. So they actually didn't give me a new lock ring, so we'll use the old one as it's not damaged. I'll go ahead and clean it off. And then make sure, got a little hair in my mouth. Make sure that you pack this side of the hub with some grease again. And now don't forget, you definitely want to put the hub spacer back in. A lot of people will forget this. I've done this many times, and then you got to take the bearings back out and put them back in. So make sure put that back into place. You don't have to, but I do suggest just putting the light greasing on this just to keep it from binding up in any way. Again, not everyone does that. I've just always done that. It may not be the right way to do it, but it's always kept debris on the spacer if need be, instead of going towards the hub and the bearings. Go ahead and pack this last bearing inside and out. The grease. Not the most fun thing to do, but it's pretty easy, and I think it's a good thing to know how to do. And now I've noticed too, I've got a couple rough burrs on this wheel spacer. So I'm actually gonna take it out. And I want just a little bit. And when that last wheel bearing went out, it left some metal residue, some little slivers on this hub, so for the spacer. So I just want to make sure there's nothing there that's going to catch. Just nice and easy, light. Yeah, so much better. All right, cool. Wipe that down again. And we'll put her back in there. Again, that one doesn't go in up or down, just sits in there. No big deal. The wheel bearing, the last one that we need to put in, we'll put into place. Kind of hear it dead noise when you get it based out or bottomed out in there, so that's when you know it's good. The lock ring, we're gonna reuse it. You can order a new one. I just didn't get one. This one has a little bit of rust on it, so I'm just gonna clean it off. Just for a little bit. Put some WD on it. And then you put some grease on this too, just so it's got some water resistance to it. And part of the reason I have to replace my wheel bearings usually, not this one per se, this one seems like it got a little bit off center or something broke on it. But usually it's due to pressure washing the bike often. Highly suggest getting a pair of these. They help a lot. And you want to make sure that the pin pops into place. We got the circlip in. Basically, it just had to readjust the wheel spacer inside and then just seat it again, and it worked just fine. So maybe something you'll have to do too. I don't know if my hub it's aftermarket Tusk hub. So I don't know, I haven't had these or serviced them in the past, so I'm assuming they're pretty good quality. A lot of people rave about them, but I mean, I've always been a fan of higher quality, I guess, wheels. Maybe these, I mean, I'm sure these are great, don't get me wrong. Like Excel or Talon or OEM or SM wheels, SPM. Whoever the one is out of Europe. But yeah, so see ya. They look good. Boom. We're in. Alright, last step. Just clean off the wheel spacer. Thing looks pretty trashed. I should probably honestly get a new one of these too. Jeez. Both of these look pretty bad. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to order these. But basically, once you're done, you put it back in, put the wheel back on, and you're good to go. That's how you change the wheel bearings. I'm gonna need to get wheel spacers because these are trashed, and I didn't even notice that. Should have looked that up before I ordered them, but yeah, live and learn. So yeah, hope that helps you guys. Set the wheel bearings, put the circlip in. Make sure you can do them with pretty much standard tools, flathead and rubber mallet. Of course, there's probably better tools to use, but that's what I've always used. So hope that helps, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.